Hi there everyone, you are currently looking at a radar imagery here on the evening of the 30th of September 2012. We are continuing to watch Typhoon Jelawat. It is now over the central portions of Honshu, continuing to impact Tokyo here as well. Actually, if you can listen in the background very closely, you might be able to hear some of the wind blowing sometimes here at my spot just outside of Shibuya. But let's start off by showing you some coming out of Kobe, where the storm system made landfall near Osaka earlier on today. Some very strong winds were reported around this area. Actually, in Wakayama Prefecture, wind gusts upwards of 129 kilometers per hour was recorded. Still, the intensity and the forecasted winds near the center of circulation of the storm are right up near that point, but even behind the storm, it's very dangerous and deadly. And I'm only going to show you just pieces of this video here, but it's a very graphic video. If you want to watch the whole one, it's on the screen. But one of the people in this video actually fall to their death, sadly, due to one of these large waves crashing ashore here in Okinawa, even after the storm is well past. So definitely very dangerous. This is why we always say stay away from the water. Rip currents are always very dangerous, and plus these waves getting upwards of 10 meters high continually here. But also, this is also some footage I shot today before the typhoon arrived in and around the Kanto area. This is right near Kamakura and Okay. Well, there was a huge gap right in there of me kind of in and out. Actually, probably edited out some of it, but something just kind of flew and slammed into something in my backyard here. And I think it was actually part of this roof I'm kind of showing you right now. I actually took this footage immediately after I just got done saying a second there, so there's kind of a gap in the timeline. But regardless, that just goes to show that even here in Tokyo, there's some stuff flying around. And then going back to some of the footage here from earlier today, I want to continue to talk about this, and I'm still talking about it. In Nagoya, 56,000 people have been evacuated due to floods. Now, Nagoya is a little bit farther down towards the south from Tokyo, right around this area, and the storm made landfall right in this region, so that makes sense given the amount of rains. One of the rivers here continuing to overflow. Lots of warnings continuing to go out for that. That's all the information I got on it. Still sketchy at best, but one thing is for sure, the storm is not being taken lightly across Tokyo. A lot of the media agencies are actually concentrating on it. The Yamamoto line in Tokyo, that is the main line, basically the beltway that runs generally like that around Tokyo. The main thoroughfare was actually stalled earlier today due to a tree down the line, and I'm not sure if the tree fell on the line or the tree hit a train, one or the other, but that's just another thing. At this time, at least 103 people are injured, and also about 500 flights have been canceled. Now, as far as the deaths, so just that one that we showed you the video earlier on today, and still about 160,000 people across portions of mainland Japan here are without electricity. Thankfully, my power is still running, but I'm a little nervous that it's going to go in and out. It never has here, though, and it doesn't really go out too often in Tokyo. Now, the one good thing about most of the places here is the rain is the main threat, not so much the wind, because most of the buildings are built to withstand shaking. Now, on that note, general structural damage won't occur, but there's still going to be a lot of superficial damage down trees. You see these upwards of 22 to 23 meters per second near Tokyo Bay. That's definitely very strong winds, gale force, and tropical storm strength winds continuing to occur across much of this area. Definitely want to continue to watch the storm system as it pulls off there towards the north. But farther inland, once you get up into the mountains, it definitely is getting torn apart. So the winds are really just being the max right near the coastlines and across much of the Kanto Plain. Would not be surprised if we see any more train delays, so definitely if you plan on venturing out this Sunday evening, do not do so. Stay indoors across much of Tokyo. You don't want to be caught out in this storm. Now, good news is that it is starting to move very rapidly off towards the north. And this is a track from the Japan Meteorological Agency. Over the next 24 hours, by 15 Universal Time, it should be just north of the Kanto area. And this is by 6 a.m. just around the Tohoku region off northeastern Honshu. And thankfully, by about Monday afternoon, the Kuril Islands will be feeling the effects of, hopefully by then, starting to go extra tropical storm Jelawat as it continues to rush off there. For the time being, though, still a typhoon, winds at 70, gusting up to 100 knots. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, just for comparison, let's show the Joint Typhoon Warning Center as well. They currently have winds sustained at 6, gusting up to about 75 knots. Expect that to continue to decrease intensity drastically going through the early morning hours, and it does pull off there towards the north. And then by about Monday afternoon, affecting the Kuril Islands as well. So basically running directly over downtown Tokyo here, a little bit farther inland, getting torn apart by those mountains, because remember, these is a very rugged terrain across much of this area. That's basically going to squeeze the storm out like a sponge, and that it will cause it to decrease intensity, just basically that surface friction continuing to tear it apart. But for the time being, you definitely still want to stay inside. A few of these storms could become severe. I haven't seen any lightning actually all day, but weak and fast-moving tornadoes very well could occur in some of these outer rain bands. But as we can see here on the satellite imagery, it really gives you a clear indication how quickly and rapidly the storm is decreasing in intensity. Dry air already flowing in around it. I would actually not be surprised by the time midnight comes around. Much of Tokyo is going to be under some clear skies, but still gusty winds. So definitely want to be watching this storm system here, at least going through overnight hours. I'd say it's already in the evening by the time this video is being uploaded, so just stay inside for the rest of the day. But also, a cold surge, mini cold surge, starting to work its way in behind it. Very gusty winds across the East China Sea. Definitely want to continue to watch this. But obviously, here on the satellite picture is this big fella over here, just towards the east of the Marianas Islands. The Japan Meteorological Agency is calling this a tropical depression. And not just this guy, but also another one just towards the west of the Philippines. And definitely both of these have a very strong chance of continuing to form up into a tropical storm and even typhoon intensity, possibly affecting some land masses. Let's take a look at the GFS outlook on both of these tropical depressions. You can see here both of them initializing rather well here on Sunday evening. And then it does show the one towards the east of Guam in the Marianas Islands, continuing to pull off there towards the north. But on Wednesday and Thursday, GFS is initializing that one just towards the southeast of Hanoi, just lingering there, and then pulling off towards Vietnam. And meanwhile, both of these continuing and possibly affecting southern portions of Japan here, or the eastern portions of Japan, the tropical depression just towards the east of the Philippines, and also this one possibly could drift towards the west, affecting Vietnam. This is the GFS model outlook. Now you're looking at the NOGAP, so the Navy model outlook from the United States, and this has a very different, actually, outlook. Now, the one towards the west of the Philippines, they also have it continuing to linger. That very well could bring some heavy rain showers going into the latter part of this week. But take a look at the one that started off near Guam. It actually does a little loop-de-loop there. Blows down towards the south and back off towards the north, basically due to a blocking high here towards the northeast. Once again, we still have a lot of time to continue to watch both of these storm systems. Jelawat is still obviously the #1 thing on the radar. We want to keep our eyes out on these, specifically this one in the South China Sea, because that could have an impact on the Indochina Peninsula, who has been suffering from very, very severe floods here the past several weeks. We do not need any more rain. But that is all for rain. Now, everyone, thanks again for watching here at WesternPacificWeather.com. I'm going to leave you with some footage coming out of Okinawa here of that severity of the storm system when it blew through your local area. If you have any other questions, comments, or suggestions, though, please let us know and stay safe out there. As always, do not take any unnecessary risk, and hope everybody has a safe night. Bye.